Hello YouTubers, we've made it to the boathouse this morning once again so we can get that boat on the water over there to improve our rowing. Hopefully Charlie will be in the water as well and we can maybe get some battle paddling in. And for those of you that aren't sure what that is, basically it's not a race, but it is a race, and you paddle and you try and get to wherever it is you're going faster, but almost try and act like you're not trying. Not actually that, but it'll be lower rate pulling harder or pushing harder depending on how you want to look at it. But just doing a little bit of different things, a little bit of variation, but as always working on the basics as I try to keep improving. So let's get on the water.
Well, I'm trying not to.
You're not worrying about balancing it. Glasses went behind you. God damn it!
Okay, so I've fallen in, got all my stuff, thought I lost my sunglasses, but it's okay. Hopefully it'll help with some confidence now. It's cold, I'm going to paddle back, lovely sun, and then dry off, get onto some dry land. So let's get back to the boathouse.
And we've made it into the boathouse. We've put the boat back on the rack after giving it a lovely wash after it being a little bit dirty after going a swim. But falling in a single, in any boat really, especially the smaller ones, is almost a rite of passage when learning to scull or learning to row in general. And the last time I fell in a boat was probably the last time I was learning to scull or relearning to scull. So it's always interesting how it happens. Today, like I said at the start of the video, I was going out and doing some paddling with Charlie and some battle paddling, some harder pressure stuff, and then I'm not sure if the GoPro actually recorded it. I took some lovely pictures because I clicked the wrong mode button, so I didn't get the video of some of the stuff. But hopefully I got the rest of this outing in video, not just a photograph. So we did some battle paddling, did some higher rate stuff to sort of really emphasize the need to relax in the single. It's not just a case of like raw max power and then hopefully aiming for a fast split, because what I've been doing is paddling better, and then when I try and add the pressure, the boat, or sorry, myself, gets a lot more tense and bouncing the boat and then being uncomfortable and wobbly and noisier and all that. So working on that as we go forward. But then we ended up going, okay, if that's happening when you're increasing the rate, the automatic reaction is to tense up. We need to get you to relax. So the idea was, there's a couple of guys down for doing training with Dan in the START program, and they were doing some roll-ups, they were doing some suspension drills, they were doing some slaps, they were doing all the sort of relatively stationary drills to gain confidence in the single. And so I was like, okay, well, Charlie now, okay, well, join in a little bit, have a little bit of tips from Dan, START coach. And initially it was very unsure. And just as I did more and more, I felt more sure. And then I was not necessarily getting a bit cocky. Well, yes, essentially getting a bit cocky, because I was doing some roll-ups, doing some slaps, doing some taps at the catch, thinking, yeah, I'm getting better at this. And I can take bigger strokes. And then turns out not that stable, and I fell in. So the idea was to, when I was doing the actual drill, was to just push a little bit from the catch, blade out, and then blade in, push a little bit, blade out, blade in, to try and gain a little bit more confidence at the catch, because I'm really lacking in that, especially just relearning to scull, and especially as we go into sort of adding more pressure, adding more power, trying to relax and be really smooth rather than add more power, if that makes sense. But that will be it for today's video, Yam Squad. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Like I said, like a rite of passage, falling in the single, and also taking you along with me on the journey, showing you that even a person that, as I've rode for not a huge amount of time. I started in 2011, so I've rode for about 8 years, so compared to some, not a lot of time, but in my 8th year of rowing, 8th year or 9th year? Maybe 9th year of rowing, I've fallen in again. And so it's a humbling experience in the single, but also it's a case of you're never too experienced to be humbled or learn new things as well. So hopefully that made some sense at all. And remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will see you tomorrow for the next episode of the vlogs. Oh yeah!